Tonight, before you drift into sleep, you will stand at the most powerful threshold of creation. You may think of sleep as rest, but in truth, it is a sacred doorway, a place where the noise of the world quiets and the voice of your inner world speaks loudest. The universe does not respond to effort, struggle, or desperate wishing. It responds to your state of being, and the moment before sleep is the most potent time to choose that state consciously, not with effort, but with awareness, not with fear, but with assumption. What if I told you that the life you desire is not waiting to be earned, but simply claimed, and all it takes is knowing how to ask, not with words, but with feeling, not tomorrow, not someday, but tonight, before your eyes close. That's when you speak to the universe in its native language, and it listens. Imagination is the creative power. There's a secret power you carry with you at every moment, one you've likely used 1,000 times without realizing its true potential. It doesn't live in books or rituals. It's not something you earn through effort or years of study. It is imagination. The world will tell you imagination is for artists, for children, for dreams that don't come true. But that is the greatest illusion of all. Imagination is not a fantasy. It is the workshop of reality. What you dare to imagine, and more importantly, what you feel as real within the imagination, is what begins to take form in your outer world. Before you ask the universe for anything, you must understand how it listens. It doesn't respond to your words, your prayers, or even your actions. Not directly. It responds to your inner state, and the most direct way to shift that state is through imagination. Think of imagination as the womb of creation. Whatever you place within it, with belief and persistence, must be born in your life. This isn't poetic metaphor, it's law. When you imagine vividly, emotionally, and with the conviction that what you see is already yours, you send a signal so deep into the fabric of reality that it must rearrange to match it. This is why the moments before sleep are so crucial. As you begin to drift into unconsciousness, your critical mind softens. The door to your subconscious, the part of you that builds your world without question, swings wide open. Whatever image or feeling you impress upon yourself in this sacred window is accepted without resistance. That's the time to use imagination, not for idle fantasy, but for deliberate creation. Let's say you desire a new opportunity, healing, love, abundance. In the waking world, you might try to figure it out, chase it, ask for it. But in the inner world, you become it. You don't imagine the lack, you dwell in the fulfillment. You picture yourself already in the life you want, not as a hope, but as a fact. You feel the joy of having it. You hear the congratulations, you see the results. But someday, now, this inner experience becomes a blueprint for the universe to follow. This is not imagination as escape. This is imagination as instruction. When you close your eyes tonight, don't replay the problems of the day. Don't fall asleep in fear or lack. Enter the world of your choosing as if it were real. Feel it, live in it, love it. Let it saturate you until you drift into sleep as the person who already has what they once desired. That act of inner embodiment is the truest form of asking, and the universe, ever faithful, will mirror your assumption back to you, not because you pleaded, but because you believed. Sleep is the gateway to creation. Each night as your body relaxes and the world fades into silence, you stand at the threshold of the most fertile ground for creation. Sleep is not just a biological necessity. It is a sacred passage into the subconscious mind, the true builder of your world. While most people treat sleep as the end of their day, those who understand the deeper laws of consciousness know sleep is the beginning of all manifestation. Why is this time so powerful? Because just before you fall asleep, your conscious mind, the part of you that doubts, analyzes, and clings to the external world, begins to withdraw. In its place, the subconscious rises, open and receptive. This subconscious is not concerned with logic or appearances. It does not question whether something is possible or not. It simply accepts the impressions it is given and begins the invisible process of bringing them into form. This is why what you dwell on before you sleep matters more than anything else. The last thoughts and feelings you entertain do not simply fade away. They sink deep into the soul of your subconscious and begin to take root. If you carry fear, worry, or lack into your sleep, those are the seeds you are planting. But if you carry images of fulfillment, peace, and gratitude, you align yourself with a different reality, one where your desire is already realized. So how do you use this gateway consciously? You begin by deciding what you truly want, not vaguely, not as a wish, but with clarity and intention. Then, as you lie in bed, let your body relax completely. Let the outer world fall away. Turn your attention inward. In this stillness, begin to imagine that your desire has already come to pass. See it clearly. Hear the sounds, feel the emotions. Immerse yourself in the scene. Make it real. Not in the future, but now. Do not worry if the outer world contradicts your inner vision. That is irrelevant. Your task is not to control the external, but to persist in the internal. In this state of relaxed imagination, allow yourself to feel the satisfaction of having what you want. Smile if it makes you smile. Weep if it moves you. The more real it feels, the deeper it impresses itself upon your subconscious, and then simply drift into sleep. Fall asleep in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let it be your lullaby. Let it be the final word your soul speaks before the night carries you inward. This is not daydreaming. This is spiritual strategy. This is creation at its highest level. Most people waste this sacred window by rehashing the day's worries or drifting aimlessly through thought. But you can choose differently. You can use this gateway to plant the life you desire so deeply that the universe must yield to your inner command. Sleep, then not as a person escaping life, but as a creator entering the workshop of reality. Tonight the doorway opens. Will you walk through? Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. There is a divine secret hidden in plain sight. You do not manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. And the way to become what you desire is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Not to merely think about it, not to hope for it, but to enter the experience of it as if it were already true. Right now, to the untrained mind, this may sound like pretending, but this is not make-believe, it is conscious becoming. The universe doesn't respond to your desires like a shopping list. It doesn't respond to the words you speak or the goals you write down unless they're backed by inner embodiment. The key is to feel yourself into the state of already having what you desire. That is how you impress your subconscious and through it instruct the universe to reflect your chosen reality. Think of it like tuning a radio. You don't get the music you want by begging the radio to play a different station. You tune to the frequency of the station you want and the music plays. In the same way, you must tune your inner state, your thoughts, emotions, and imagination to the version of yourself who already has what you seek. Not tomorrow, not one day. So how do you do this? Start by identifying the feeling your fulfilled desire will bring. Is it joy, freedom, peace, gratitude? Then go further. What would you see, hear, and feel if it were true right now? Would someone congratulate you? Would you walk differently? Would you sleep more peacefully at night? Now, create a scene in your imagination that captures that moment. Perhaps it's a phone call with good news, a conversation with someone you love, the first morning you wake up in your dream home. It doesn't need to be long. It only needs to be real to you. Once you have this scene, replay it each night before sleep, not with force, but with feeling. Let it fill your senses. Let it move you emotionally. Let your heart respond as though it has already happened. The moment you feel it is real, you have entered the state, and the state is everything. It is the cause. The outer world is only the effect. Remain faithful to the state no matter what your senses show you. Life will always mirror your dominant inner state, even if there's a delay. This is not passive waiting. This is powerful claiming. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you speak the language the universe understands, not from a place of need, but from a place of completion. You're no longer asking for it. You're no longer looking for it. You're living from it. And that shift from wanting to being is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. It is how dreams cross over into reality. So tonight, don't wish, don't want, become, and let the universe match your state. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. There's a divine secret hidden in plain sight. You do not manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. And the way to become what you desire is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Not to merely think about it, not to hope for it, but to enter the experience of it as if it were already true right now. To the untrained mind, this may sound like pretending, but this is not make-believe. It is conscious becoming. The universe doesn't respond to your desires like a shopping list. It doesn't respond to the words you speak or the goals you write down unless they're backed by inner embodiment. The key is to feel yourself into the state of already having what you desire. That is how you impress your subconscious and through it instruct the universe to reflect your chosen reality. Think of it like tuning a radio. You don't get the music you want by begging the radio to play a different station. You tune to the frequency of the station you want, and the music plays. In the same way, you must tune your inner state, your thoughts, emotions, and imagination to the version of yourself who already has what you seek. Not tomorrow, not one day, now. So how do you do this? Start by identifying the feeling your fulfilled desire would bring. Is it joy, freedom, peace, gratitude? Then go further. What would you see, hear, and feel if it were true right now? Would someone congratulate you? Would you walk differently? Would you sleep more peacefully at night? Now, create a scene in your imagination that captures that moment. Perhaps it's a phone call with good news, a conversation with someone you love. The first morning you wake up in your dream home. It doesn't need to be long. It only needs to be real to you. Once you have this scene, replay it each night before sleep. Not with force, but with feeling. Let it fill your senses. Let it move you emotionally. Let your heart respond as though it has already happened. The moment you feel it as real, you have entered the state. And this state is everything. It is the cause. The outer world is only the effect. Remain faithful to the state no matter what your senses show you. Life will always mirror your dominant inner state. Even if there's a delay, there's no passive waiting. This is powerful claiming. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you speak the language the universe understands. Not from a place of need, but from a place of completion. You're no longer asking for it. You're no longer looking for it. You're living from it. And that shift from wanting to being is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. It is how dreams cross over into reality. So tonight, don't wish, don't want, become. And let the universe match your state. Persistence trumps evidence. If there is one truth you must hold close on the journey of conscious creation, it is this. What you see right now is not the final word. The outer world, the current facts, the circumstances in front of you, none of them have the authority to define your future. They are simply echoes of your past assumptions, reflections of previous states of consciousness. And if you don't like what you see, you don't fight it. You persist beyond it. This is where most people falter. They imagine a new life, feel it deeply, even taste its joy, and then they look around and see the same old problems, the same delays, the same resistance. Doubt creeps in. Logic takes over. It's not working, they whisper to themselves, and so they give up, not realizing they've aborted the seed before it had a chance to bloom. They judged the invisible by the visible. But the secret is this: you must persist in the inner assumption even when the outer world shows no sign of change. Creation doesn't happen instantly, not in the physical realm. When you plant a seed in soil, you don't dig it up the next morning and declare it useless because you can't see the roots. You water it, nourish it, and trust the process, even while it's still hidden beneath the surface. So it is with your imagination. The scene you create in the stillness of night, the feeling you cultivate in your heart, that is the seed. You mean the delay between planting and harvest? That is not denial, that is gestation. You must persist long enough for your world to catch up to your new state of being. Persistence, then, is not stubborn repetition. It's not forcing an image over and over out of desperation. True persistence is quiet, confident loyalty to the unseen reality you've chosen. It's the decision to return again and again to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, no matter what the facts say. The outer world may scream lack, but you whisper abundance. The bank account may show emptiness, but you walk in the feeling of wealth. The relationship may appear broken, but you dwell in the joy of reunion. This is the inner discipline of creation. Understand this: your senses will lie to you, not because they are broken, but because they are delayed. What you see with your eyes is a snapshot of old beliefs, states you once occupied. If you believe only what you can see, then you are always trailing behind your own power. But if you believe what you feel, what you imagine, and what you persist in, despite appearances, then the world must conform, not as a matter of luck, but as a matter of law. So how do you stay faithful when the evidence seems to argue against you? You anchor yourself in imagination. Every night, you revisit the scene of your fulfilled desire. You don't analyze it. You don't question it. You enter it. You make it your dwelling place. And throughout your day, when doubt arises, you return in mind to that feeling, not to escape reality, but to reshape it. You are not at the mercy of appearances. You are the cause of them. And persistence is your tool of mastery. The only reason anyone fails to manifest their desires is because they quit too soon. They allowed the world to convince them that imagination was fantasy, instead of recognizing it as the blueprint of all creation. The most powerful creators are not the ones who have the strongest will. They're the ones who trust the invisible long enough for it to become visible. They understand that the world bends not to effort, but to assumption, held steadily. That is your task. Hold the vision, not as something distant, but as something done. Speak from it, think from it, feel from it. And when you do, reality will reassemble around you piece by piece, sometimes subtly, sometimes miraculously, until what once lived only in your imagination stands before you in flesh and form. So tonight, do not look for signs. Do not ask, where is it? Ask instead, am I dwelling in the feeling of having it? And if the answer is yes, persist. That is enough. The universe mirrors states of being, not begging. There is a truth so profound and yet so often missed. The universe gives you not what you plead for, but what you embody. It responds not to your desperation, but to your identity. Your reality is not shaped by how badly you want something. It is shaped by who you are being, moment by moment, thought by thought, feeling by feeling. Many people ask the universe from a place of lack. They plead, affirm, and pray with intensity, hoping that their effort will be rewarded. But begging, no matter how sincere, is still an act of separation. It declares, I do not have. It says, this is out there, not within me. And so the universe, neutral and unjudged, mirrors that very state back to them. More waiting, more hoping, more not having. The laws that govern this reality are not swayed by emotion or effort. They respond to vibration, to being. And being is not something you act out. It is something you settle into. You do not get what you want, you get what you are. And if you want to experience something different in your life, you must first become the version of yourself who already has it. Seek the great shift. From desire to identity, from wishing to being. If you long for love, you must no longer be the one who is lonely. You must become the one who is loved, cherished, adored. If you seek abundance, you cannot keep wearing the energy of lack. You must assume the posture of one who is already provided for. The shift is subtle, but it is everything. You may wonder, how do I become something I do not yet have? The answer lies in imagination and feeling. Every night before sleep, you are given the opportunity to shed the outer shell of circumstance and step into the inner world of assumption. You are not required to change the world with your hands. You are required to change your state with your mind and your heart. Close your eyes. Enter the scene where your desire is already fulfilled. Feel what it feels like to live it, not watch it. Hear the sounds, feel the air, sense the mood, make it vivid, but most importantly, feel yourself as the one who already possesses it, not reaching, not asking, but having. This is the state, this is the frequency. You must learn to hold this state, not just in imagination, but in your waking life. Carry it with you like a quiet knowing. Walk differently, speak differently, think from your wish, not of it. You don't have to explain this to anyone. It is your private communion with the creative power within you. And this power does not require drama or noise. It requires certainty. When you truly live from the state of the fulfilled desire, the universe is no longer something you must ask. It becomes your mirror. It reflects your assumption back to you in perfect precision. And yes, sometimes the reflections come with a delay. Sometimes they arrive wrapped in unfamiliar forms, but they come because they must. You don't need to strive to convince the universe. It already knows the truth of your being. Your job is to stay loyal to that inner identity. The state of being is the seed. Everything else is harvest. And if you fall out of that state, if the world begins to shake you, to make you doubt, to tempt you into looking at the old evidence, return inward. Gently, firmly, deliberately, reclaim your state. Not in fear, but in confidence. Say to yourself, this is who I am now. And the world will follow. This is the quiet power of creation. Not shouting at the sky, not waiting for permission, but becoming the one who already has it before it appears. That is true faith. That is conscious alignment. And that is the only request the universe will ever answer. So tonight, when you close your eyes, do not ask with longing. Become with certainty. Let your state of being be the prayer. Let your imagination be the temple. And let your feeling be the offering. The universe is not withholding anything from you. It is only echoing back what you continually assume to be true. Change your assumption, and you will change your world.